can be contagious.
It's something that shape who the person to become in future.
They grow up becoming the image of their parents.
Different measures to how you can reintegrate the person.
It plays another major role.
You have to do it every time. Remind yourself that, okay, I need to get past this phase.
Caleb is from a family that can afford certain things for them, and then John is from a family that cannot afford the same thing.
Marginalized society.
Welcome to Bound Becoming.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, so as you all know, this is where we uncover to discover. And with us today here is Mr. Kombidia, who would be, giving us insights and measures on how to work on childhood trauma and how to prevent it from affecting our relationships as adults. So, Mr. Kombi, what do you think about childhood trauma and how it affects us as adults in our relationship, and what do you think we should do to prevent this thing from affecting our relationship?
Childhood trauma is a very, 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 very delicate topic. I mean, it's the beginning, is something that shape who the person to become in future.
Right.
There are different measures to how you can reintegrate the person who has gone into this traumatic phase into the society and help them to better themselves. I have some stories to also share because I run a charity organization that helps in marginalized society, and I've made stories or two about something within childhood trauma, which I'll very much share in this episode.
All right. Okay. So, as kids, most kids go through different sort of trauma. Like they watch their parents fight, like daddy always beats mommy. And, most of them are from abusive home, or maybe their parents used to tell them that you have a big head, why are you looking like this, why are you that, and all this kind of
verbal abuse.
Verbal abuse.
Yeah.
And then they grow up becoming the image of their parents. Yeah. Because they've been constantly abused. You're not looking good, you're not smelling nice, you're not this, you're not that. And then it forms this image in them and this character that once they get into the relationship, they start hammering their partner. Not just intimate relationship at this point. Yes. When it comes to business, when it comes to your workplace, when it comes to the way you relate with your friends at large, So this has been a plague. This is what I've been saying. It happens every day. So what do you think? What are the preventive measures? Like if somebody is from an abusive home and they've been traumatized this way, what are the measures do you think we can actually use to work on this thing?
Before we go into preventive measures, and you have to first tackle what traumatic experiences. There are several traumatic experiences. Like I said, I'm going to share one. I have someone who confided in me that at a very young age, they experienced their first sex at the age of 4 years.
Okay.
They experienced their first sex. They were not assaulted, they saw it being done. And that memory has been with them for a very long time because it was not just like the way he explained it to me. There were like things involved, like cutlass, within the space of them having the sex.
Wow.
And he grew up addicted to hardcore porn.
Okay.
And he could not outgrow it. And we brought along counselors who would speak to them, and it's not enough.
Okay.
It's not enough because the person will always have to go and see these counselors or try to better themselves every day because it's not just a one-day thing.
Okay.
You get, so these are things that you have to turn to an habit.
Okay.
Which you have to like do every time to remind yourself that, okay, I need to get past this phase of where this trauma has taken me to.
You have to be constant on your
Yeah,
self-awareness.
constant on self-awareness and constant on rebuilding, reshaping yourself to leaving the trauma behind.
Okay. So, okay, that is nice. In situation where a child maybe grew up in a family with maybe they are in a single room or two room, because I know most families are like that.
Yes,
and then
yes.
they happen to see mommy and daddy do this funny play in the night.
Yeah.
Because I know kids see these
Yeah,
things.
yes.
And sometimes the parents think they're sleeping, so let's just do this. And then they see that happen. And I realize that can also be traumatic to them, aside mommy beating daddy or
Verbal
mommy,
abuse
or verbal
and
abuse,
talks,
all this kind
yeah.
of thing. So I think that alone can also be an issue. And there's another thing, again, this circle of friends that kids have growing up, all right, it plays another major role on trauma and what we call peer pressure and all this kind of thing. You see, let me just use some names. Caleb is from a family that can afford certain things for them, and then John is from a family that cannot afford the same thing Caleb's parents are affording for and getting John
Yeah.
and Caleb, right? So in situations like that, what do you have to say when it comes to this financial trauma? How do they handle these things? Because I realize most of these children end up doing things they're not supposed to do, doing illegal stuff, and you know, a lot of things. So, what are the ways? How can they, sort all these things and tackle it?
I mean, I think it has to do with oneself, the way you want your life to be seen by others. Because you can't tell me trauma doesn't show.
Okay.
If you see someone who has gone through a traumatic experience and is battling that traumatic experience, you see it in the ways they do things that, okay, this person is battling things. You get, if you see someone who is suffering from porn addiction and everything, I mean, I don't say they write it in the face or anything. You would have a feeling that this person is not really himself.
Okay.
I mean, he would want to run to the toilet or run somewhere to hide or do something like every five minutes.
Does that have effect on their looks?
No, it does not. I'm not saying it does. I'm not saying they don't write in their face.
Okay.
But the mannerism of which they carry themselves is not the way you would see someone who is free of trauma carrying themselves.
Okay. So, I need to tell us, what can a child who is traumatic
Okay, yes.
do to prevent all those mental trauma?
I mean,
Now, sorry for cutting you. Let's just wrap it up on the maybe sexual trauma, peer pressure, maybe drugs or verbal abuse.
Verbal abuse.
In summary, what can they do to, work on this thing so that it doesn't affect them on the long run? So that when they now maybe start dating somebody else or get married to somebody else, they'll not now start abusing the person or relating with people at work, at a place of business or normal friends and family or in school, so they don't abuse people the same way. What can they do?
I mean, a child won't know if they are being traumatized yet until when they grow older and they have this self-reflection that I remember when that used to happen to me.
Okay.
Maybe that's the reason why I'm this way.
Okay.
So I mean, you speak out, you talk to people about it. You don't want to keep it to yourself, because if you keep things to yourself, they tend to really spread and grow and really affect the person. So you speak out, you talk to people about it, talk to professionals about it, see a therapist if you are financially capable of doing that. I mean, parents are not to be to take these things lightly. Like if a victim, let's as in the case of verbal abuse now,
Yeah.
if a victim is suffering, like the mother is suffering from verbal abuse from the father,
Yeah.
the mother should also speak out about the abuse she's facing, and also teach our children
All right.
that okay, what your father is doing is not right.
Okay.
It's wrong. You see many women tend to keep quiet, or because they believe that okay, he's love, he's abusing me because he loves me, and I mean, that is not right. Love is not abuse. It's not. It's never abuse. So you speak out. You talk to your children to also point out that okay, what your father is doing is calling you, saying you decrease, you, all those kind of things.
Yeah.
The child would now understand, differentiate that okay, what my father did to my mother is not good, and I shouldn't do it to someone else because I don't want it to be done to me too in any workplace.
All right. Thank you so much for this.
Yes, you're welcome.
So I think one of the basic things is self-reflection.
Self-reflection.
Find help.
Yes.
You can find help by getting a therapist. If therapy don't work for you, like Africans used to say,
Yeah, they believe
we don't believe in therapy, right?
they believe the church is a therapy. I mean, you could go to church and talk to someone about it.
Yeah, you get
or
it.
mosques if you are a Muslim.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where traditionals will go to. Do you know where traditionals will go to?
No.
mean-
But regardless, find help.
Find help.
Find help. If you're watching this today, find help. Just make sure you know your self-worth, right?
Yes.
Self-awareness is very important in situations like this. A lot of people were traumatized or were abused when they were younger, and then it's been a traumatic problem for them, even at old age, even in adulthood, right? Because they did not really work on it while growing up. So even though you were abused when you were young and you did not know you've been traumatized, and then you realize you have certain habits you're doing that is not cool, and people are like complaining about it. Why do you insult people a lot? Why do you fight a lot? Why do you cheat on somebody a lot? Why do you this? Why do you that? Most of these bad habits could be result of abuse you've received when you were small. And even not just when you were small, even as an adult, you can be abused, and then it could affect the way you see things and the way you relate with people. So realizing this thing is cool. You work on it.
Also, don't forget to try as much as possible not to pass the trauma.
Yeah.
Traumas are being passed from generation down to generation.
Yeah.
Be the one to end the trauma and pour out, instead of pouring out negativity and your traumatic experience to other people or your family members or your generation. Pour out positivity. Make sure the trauma ends with you.
Very insightful, powerful.
Yeah.
So make sure the trauma ends with you. Don't pass it to another person. It can be contagious, right? So thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you, sir, for this insightful conversation. Though it's brief, but it's very powerful.
Yeah.
All right. So it's good to have you here today, and we hope to see you some other time.
Definitely.
Hopefully. All right. So make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and share this video for more. Thank you for joining us today. See you. Bye-bye.